what is resilience? Resilience doesn't mean you never get knocked down. It just means you have the ability to keep getting back up over and over again. But I think there's a lot more to it than that. There's a real beauty in resilience because it reveals character. And character is what you do when no one's watching. Resilience is that drive and that ability to keep going after the setback. Hi, I'm Joe. I think the real test of your beauty and resilience is after a crisis. After the initial drama is over, after the novelty of the setback is worn off, and everyone else gone back to their lives, and you're left picking up the broken pieces. But here's the thing, that's actually where the beauty of the situation comes in. As you start to work and clean up everything that's left after the heartbreak, or the loss, or the failure, or the bankruptcy, you're now in a unique position to see a perspective you've never seen before. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but you can have one perspective from here, but then you can have another one from over here. I know it's really hard to feel and see that while you're in the middle of it. John C. Maxwell says that experience is not the best teacher. Experience with reflection. So if we're just going and we just keep going and never learn anything from our failures or our setbacks, we're destined to make those same mistakes or those same failures or those same situations over and over again. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I think if there was an opposite definition to insanity, you would think it would be sanity, right? I think it would be resilience. We have to get back up. We have to pivot. We have to adjust, learn, and then try again. So how do you get back up if you don't feel like it? If you are having trouble and struggling to get back up, how do you actually do that? Well, Tony Robbins talks about the 3 P's of self-destruction. We have to get rid of these in order to pick ourselves back up. The first one is permanent. We have a tendency to think that when something goes wrong, it's going to last forever, right? Which is totally untrue because, look at the world we live in. Everything's changing all the time, right? Nothing is permanent except for your soul. The second one is pervasive. And that means that just because one area of our life is going sideways, it means our whole life is over. That doesn't make sense either. For example, if you're struggling with finances, you think that everything's over. Or if your relationship is going sideways, that means your health is out the window. Just because one thing in your life is not working the way that you want it to, that doesn't mean your whole life is over. And the third thing is personal. When we start to take it personal, we think there's something wrong with us in the situation, it starts to become self-fulfilling. And we start to sabotage ourselves, and we start to kill our momentum, and we start to beat ourselves up. And it makes it very difficult to pick ourselves back up. So we got to get rid of those 3 P's: permanent, pervasive, and personal. Everyone in my family went through their own journey to this beauty of resilience when my son got cancer. Obviously, my son had the physical journey of going through cancer and bouncing back, and he built an amazing resilience and strength from that. But the rest of the family struggled too. My wife had fear and doubt because when he first started getting sick, she knew there was something wrong, and lo and behold, there was something wrong. But she had to fight that impulse to think that anytime the kids got sick, it was cancer. And she pushed through that, and she built an amazing strength and resilience. And through that, she was able to pour herself into learning the best way to keep us healthy and to prevent this from happening again. And as a result, my family is healthier than we've ever been in our lives. My older son struggled because he didn't understand and he was afraid. I think he also dealt with some jealousy and maybe some resentment because his younger brother was getting all the attention, right? But he learned how to serve through this process, and he built a strength and a resilience, and he is an amazing young man now through this process. My younger daughter, she had a hard time because she was scared and confused. She didn't know what was going on. But she learned how to support her brother and to love her family. And she is an amazing, caring person now because of that growth. But through all of it, it really gave us an opportunity to grow and to learn. It gave us a new perspective on life and challenge. Now, am I happy my son got cancer? Of course not. The really amazing thing is that it changed mine and my wife's mission in life. It changed the way we think, the way we interact, the way we live, and the way we work. Resilience is strength. Think back to your last struggle, your failure, or the last setback. Maybe you're in the middle of one right now. If you choose to actually learn from the situation, if you decide to grow from this experience, you will see a light you have never seen before. You will see opportunities open up before you that you've never had. I know it's hard right now. I know it's really difficult to see that silver lining when you're still inside the cloud. I promise that your breakthrough is on the other side of this. I promise that if you make a choice to actually learn from every situation and decide to embrace your beauty and your resilience, you will see a road open up before you full of possibilities, and you will grow in ways you can't even imagine. The only ways to truly fail are to give up or to never really go for it to begin with. You have it in you. Your Creator put you here to push through and to reveal the beauty and the power of your resilience. Make the choice today to get back up, to get rid of those 3 P's, to reflect and to learn from the setbacks, to show the world what you're made of and that nothing can keep you down. And hey, if you're a real estate professional, you're feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, maybe even burnt out, click the link in my bio and schedule a discovery session with me. And let's learn how to build resilience, how to learn from the setbacks, and how to use those as wind in your sails to drive you toward your amazing real estate future and the professional and the person that you were always meant to be. Thanks for being here with me today. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any stories or challenges you'd like to share in the comments, I would love to hear about them. I love reading your guys' comments. Remember, setbacks are not permanent. They're not pervasive, and they're not personal. Sometimes things just happen. Find your beauty and your resilience in pushing forward. Now it's time to get back up. See you soon.